Welcome to Beyond the Clinic, the podcast for health professionals who intend to take their expertise and transform it into innovative income streams that extend well beyond the traditional clinic model. I'm your host, Sarah Armand-Bushell, registered dietitian and certified business coach, and proud owner of not one, but two successful online businesses. Picture this. It wasn't that long ago that I was a full-time NHS employee, afraid to take the leap from the security of a regular salary. I understand that stepping up as an authority can feel intimidating, but it doesn't have to be scary, and you do not have to do this alone. I'm on a mission to inspire ambitious health business owners, or those who want to be, who dream of being able to positively impact thousands of people's health and lives while simultaneously enjoying the freedom that comes from being your own boss. If you've been nodding along, then you are in the right place. In this podcast, you're going to learn tangible, easy, actionable business strategies on how to accelerate your business success that extends well beyond the traditional clinic model. You'll also hear from successful health experts where we'll dive behind the scenes of their businesses so you can hear exactly what it took for them to grow flourishing businesses too. Thank you for being here and welcome along to Beyond the Clinic. Let's dive in. Welcome to today's episode of Beyond the Clinic. If you've ever felt stuck in your business, like no matter how hard you work, you just can't seem to break through to the next income level, or if you're just starting out, you just don't seem to be able to actually get started and make money, then this episode is for you. We're talking all about money mindset, uncovering those hidden beliefs and patterns that might be holding you back from earning what you want. By the end of this episode, you will learn how to identify the money stories that you've been carrying for possibly years, get crystal clear on your financial goals and how to achieve them, charge appropriately for your services without guilt or without fear, reframe money as a tool to create impact and freedom, and recognize where you may be subconsciously sabotaging your own financial success. This is going to be a practical, but also a very reflective session. So grab a notebook if you can, or listen now and then listen again later so you can really take it all in. So with that said, let's get started. Have you ever felt like no matter how much effort you put into your business, you just can't seem to make more money? You've likely done all the courses, you've built out your strategy, you've ticked all the boxes, but you still feel stuck. Well, if that resonates, you're not alone. So many healthcare professionals find themselves in this exact same position. And let me tell you, it's not because you're not clever enough, or you're not hardworking enough, or you're not talented enough. Most often, it's your mindset around money that's holding you back. Here's how this usually shows up. So you might be making some money, but it's not quite enough to give you the freedom or the lifestyle that you imagined when you started your business. Or you might be earning okay, but it feels like you've hit an invisible ceiling, and no matter what you try and do, you just can't seem to break through to that next level. You're stuck in this cycle of working harder, trying to get more clients, but it's not leading to the results that you want. One of the clearest ways money mindset blocks show up is in our pricing. So for many healthcare professionals, setting up prices is actually quite an emotional process. So instead of basing our fees on the value that we deliver, we might look at what our colleagues are charging and match that, thinking, well, if they're charging this, I can't possibly charge even more. Or we use the private medical insurance rates as a benchmark, even though those rates are notoriously low and have very little to do with the value you actually provide your clients. Or the most common mistake I see is choosing a price based on your sense of worth as a clinician. Maybe you've heard campaigns telling you to know your worth, but here's the thing. Your prices are not a reflection of your self-worth. You're not selling yourself, you're selling a solution, a result, a transformation. This emotional approach to pricing is often fueled by deeper, unconscious beliefs about money, beliefs that actually may have been with you since early childhood. So think back for a moment. What were the common phrases that you might have heard about money when you were growing up? Things like, we can't afford it. Things like, money doesn't grow on trees. Or, do you think I'm made of money? And even if your family was financially comfortable, you might have absorbed other messages like seeing your parents work long hours so that you did have the money for nice things. These experiences and phrases, these shape how we think about money now as adults. And often they create the belief that making money has to be hard, or that financial success or wanting financial success is somehow a bit greedy or selfish. For many of us who have come from the NHS, there's an additional layer of scarcity conditioning. Years and years of working in an environment where cost cutting was the norm can leave you feeling like you have to do more for less. So maybe you worked in a department where budgets were so tight that basic supplies like pens or diaries were cut and you had to bring in your own. I know I did. Or perhaps you had to take on extra work after staff cuts without any additional pay or even recognition for it. I've experienced that too, and I'm sure many of us just had to absorb extra work. And if you're old enough to remember Agenda for Change like me, we all had to work an additional hour every single week for exactly the same salary. But this consistent reinforcement of scarcity in an industry where we are compelled to give to people creates a mindset where charging well for your services feels a bit icky or even a bit vulgar or even actually feels wrong. So, what does all of this ultimately lead to? You may undervalue yourself and undercharge for your services, leaving you feeling overworked and underpaid. You may struggle to confidently communicate your value to potential clients, which means fewer people say yes to working with you. And you may feel an underlying discomfort whenever the topic of money comes up, whether it's setting prices, whether it's asking for the sale, or even just talking about your business financial goals. I recently worked with a client who was charging £90 for a one-off session. Despite her being a really highly qualified and experienced dietitian with over 20 years under her belt. And of course, as her business coach, I broached the subject of money and raising her prices. She was very uncomfortable with this. She told me, I just don't feel like I can charge any more. £90 is okay. What happens if I do increase my prices and I get no one booking in? What if they think I'm not worth it? Other people don't charge that much, and I'm certainly not Insta famous like some of the other dietitians that are out there. She had tied her self-worth to her pricing, and actually it was keeping her stuck. So after working together to reframe her money mindset, she was confidently able to raise her prices. Now, I am not a fan of selling single sessions. We all know that it is impossible to get a client good results in a one-off. So what we did was we put together a package effectively selling a transformation or a solution to her clients. And the amazing thing was her clients didn't even blink at the new £800 fee that she was charging. In fact, they saw value in her services more so because she had valued them herself. Now, grab your notebook and a pen if you've got one handy. And I want you to pause this episode for a moment or come back to this if you're driving or doing something else. And I want you to ask yourself, what beliefs do you have about money that you're carrying with you into your business? And how might those beliefs be impacting you or holding you back from earning what you deserve? And actually, what would life look like if you started to think differently about money? The good news is You don't have to stay stuck in this mindset, but before we talk about how to shift it, we need to just explore how much this could be costing you, not just financially, but emotionally and professionally as well. So I want to dig a little bit deeper first. So, first of all, let's talk about the emotional cost. When you feel uncomfortable charging for your services or asking for a sale, it can create a ripple effect that impacts how you see yourself as a professional. You start questioning whether your work is truly worth the price that you're asking. This doubt can creep in, making you feel like maybe you're not as skilled or as experienced or as knowledgeable as you thought you were. You might worry that if you raise your prices, clients will expect more from you, better results, faster responses, or a higher level or intensity of support and care. And you're just not sure if you can meet those expectations. And this cycle of questioning and self doubt can make you second guess your value. And it can actually even make you hesitate to promote your services, which then reinforces the belief that you're not good enough. And before you know it, imposter syndrome's got you. You might feel resentment, not just towards your clients, but also towards yourself, because deep down, you know you're working harder and far more than you should for less than you feel you deserve. And this can lead to exhaustion and ultimately burnout. And then there's the guilt for wanting more, guilt for thinking about money when in your heart you started this job because you just want to help people. But there's often an inner conflict at work too, because you love your work, but you're also frustrated that it's not paying you enough to live the life that you want. And you really want that financial freedom. You know you can get a step closer by raising your prices, but you're terrified of what people will say or think if you do. And often this judgment comes from people like our partners or our friends or our parents rather than our clients. So, this emotional weight can actually turn into self sabotaging behaviors like hesitating to promote your services because you feel awkward talking about money. I've been there myself, right in the middle of a promotion for my Picky Eating membership club. I'd planned to go live on Instagram every single day and talk about the club. But when it came to it, I decided I was too busy and I just posted something on my grid instead. You might underprice yourself, or worse, you might barter or offer discounts or undercut your competitors, thinking it will make your services more appealing if you do this. But instead, it just devalues them in the eyes of your potential clients. And it sets you up in a bidding war with your colleagues. And actually, no one wins in that scenario. Or ultimately, you might burn yourself out. You might take on too many cheap clients to make up for this low pricing, leaving you utterly exhausted and thinking a job working for somebody else would be so much easier. So let's just put this into perspective in terms of money for a minute. So imagine you're currently charging, I'm going to say £75 per session, just for easy maths, and 10 clients a week. So that's £750 a week or $3,000 a month. Now, let's say you go bold here and you double your prices to £150 a session. And the worst happens. You lose half of your clients. You're still making the same amount of money, £3,000 a month, but with only 5 clients instead of 10. So now you've got more free time when you can go off and do something else like write a book or an ebook or create a mini course and sell it at a lower price point, enabling you to help so many more people. And if you kept all 10 clients, well, that's double your earnings at £6,000 a month. So in this scenario, the real cost of keeping your prices low is the time and energy that you could have saved by working smarter and not harder. I just want to mention the professional impact as well, because when you underprice yourself, it can also affect how other people perceive you and your services. If your prices are low, potential clients might wonder, is this person properly qualified? Why are they charging so little? Because there is this perceived minimum value for professional services. And you also risk attracting nightmare clients, those who are looking for a bargain or a quick win or a magic wand, rather than those who truly value the transformation that you provide. Have you heard of that phrase, skin in the game? If people don't have enough skin in the game, they're less likely to implement your advice, which means they won't get the results, which means no testimonial or negative reviews and refund requests. And you don't want those nightmare clients. I worked with another client, actually. She was offering a 6-week program for £300, 3 consultations once every 2 weeks. But she was pouring hours of effort into each client, creating meal plans, providing WhatsApp support. And actually, she was getting them incredible results. But she was barely breaking even. When we looked at her pricing, she told me, I just don't think people will pay more for this. But she did take my advice and we restructured her offer and raised the price to £1,000. And guess what? Not only did her clients say yes, but they actually seemed more committed to the program and they stopped badgering her via WhatsApp on a daily basis. And I am convinced this was because she was attracting a new type of client, someone happy to make a meaningful investment who took responsibility for their own health. And this transformed her business. And within 3 months, she was actually raising her prices again. Now, if any of this is resonating with you, I want you to know you're not alone because so many of my colleagues and clients experience this. It's just a mindset issue. And the good news is it's totally fixable. But here's the thing. Shifting your mindset doesn't just happen on its own. It does take intention. It does take some reflective practice, and it does take knowledge and application of the right strategies in order to break free from this. And that's exactly what we're going to go into right now. So I've got 5 key steps for you to help you improve your money mindset and actually earn more money as a result of it. Step 1 is all about identifying your money stories. The very first step in transforming your relationship with money is to identify the stories you've likely been telling yourself for years and years. These stories always stem from past experiences, like working for 20 plus years in an NHS environment where scarcity is the norm, or even from early childhood, as I mentioned earlier, where perhaps you grew up where money might have been scarce, or you were told things like money doesn't grow on trees. These experiences shape how we think about and how we interact with money today, and sometimes in ways we don't even realize. So, what I want you to do is just start by paying attention to where your daily interactions with money feel a bit off, for want of a better word. Like, do you feel guilty when you're spending on yourself or buying things in your business, even on things that you know you need, like tech upgrades or hiring support? Do you feel a sense of fear when you think about raising your prices, as if you're asking for something that actually you don't really feel like you deserve? Or do you feel frustration at the end of the month when, despite all of your hard work, it feels like there's never really enough to show for it? Because these feelings, these are clues to your money stories. Once you notice them, I would love for you to take some time to reflect on where in your past these might have come from. So here's an example from my own life. When I was a child, my mum was always at home with us while my dad was off at work. He had a really important job that required long hours, and his work allowed us to have nice things. I was really lucky. I grew up in a family where money wasn't scarce. We went on nice holidays abroad. We always had the latest gadgets. I remember we were the first family on our street to get a microwave. There was a message behind these long hours that my dad was working. And that was you had to work hard, really hard, to have nice things. And I learned early on that recognition and attention came when I worked hard and I achieved something big. So I was quite a shy kid. I remember my parents often describing me as ordinary. Despite being financially comfortable, there was no point in sending me to the private school like the neighbours' kids, and so I went to the local comprehensive. But I noticed something. Whenever I achieved something above ordinary, like getting my grade 1 violin certificate when I was 5, or the time when I won an award at school and the local newspaper came to take photos, My dad made a big fuss of me. And when I was ordinary, like with my bang average GCSE results, B's and C's across the board, I didn't get that same level of attention. And this stuck with me. I learned that to be seen and to be valued, I had to work harder than everyone else. So if I fast forward a bit into my NHS career, this story played out again. Recognition from my bosses fueled this need to prove myself. And what that meant was by 32, I was promoted to a divisional director for therapy services, a massive achievement. I was ever so young, but it was driven by that same pattern. I worked tirelessly to achieve cost savings, which was the number one target at the time, even when it left me feeling completely drained. And now, as a business owner, I can see how these stories still play out now. I've built two really successful businesses that achieve great results for my clients and great results for me financially. But I often find myself on the edge of burnout, pushing harder and harder for the next achievement or to reach the next financial goal that I've set myself. And you know what? I can see where this spills out into my daily interactions with money. So for me, it's not about hesitating to invest. It's the opposite. I tend to overspend. I always want the best tech. I want the latest tools. I want to go on the most up-to-date training courses to ensure that I stay ahead and continue to be the best business coach out there for healthcare professionals. And I rarely feel guilty about this because I see it as an investment in my business and in my clients' successes too. But sometimes I stop and I have to ask myself if I'm using these purchases as a way to validate my worth or to prove that I'm good enough instead of recognizing that I already am. So the key is this: I'm working on it and you can too. By identifying your own money stories, you can start to begin to break free from patterns that actually really don't serve you. Okay, step 2 is about defining exactly what you want. So, got to get crystal clear on what you want. What's your money goal? And what's that money for? How much do you want to earn? How many of your offers do you need to sell at the current price point in order to reach that goal? Is your goal realistic at your current price point, or do you need to adjust your pricing to make it achievable? Once you've defined your goal, I really want you to get committed to it. Write it down, read it out loud every single day. Your money goal isn't a wish to be kept secret, it's a target to aim for. And remember, your money goal is just a number, it's not a reflection of your self-worth. You need to be as detailed as possible about your goal. Like I said earlier, what's the money for? But how are you going to earn it? What will you do to market your offers so that you grow your audience and more people will see you as the go-to expert? The more specific you are, the easier it will be to earn that money. Here's why. You've probably heard of your brain's reticular activating system. It acts like a filter. Every minute, your brain absorbs an incredible amount of information, far more than you could consciously process. Now, the reticular activating system helps because it focuses your attention on what's important to you and it filters out the rest. So here's a personal example. In my early 20s, I had this very clear goal. I wanted a red convertible Mini. I had imagined myself driving along the seafront to Brighton every single day to my job at the Children's Hospital with the roof down and the wind blowing my long blonde hair. Because I was so focused on this goal, my reticular activating system filtered out any unnecessary distractions and highlighted every single red convertible Mini that I passed on the street. It was like they were everywhere. My brain knew this goal mattered to me. It knew it was important. And so it helped me notice opportunities in order to achieve it. And yes, I did buy the red Mini. And exactly the same principle applies to your financial goals. Get clear, get specific, and let your brain help you notice the opportunities and steps to make it happen. Step 3 is to charge appropriately. If you feel you're undercharging, I've got an exercise for you in order to help you raise your prices appropriately. So I learned this one from money mindset queen Denise Duffield Thomas, who describes something very similar in one of her books. So the first thing you do is decide what you would charge if you didn't feel scared. And then close your eyes and notice that comfortable feeling in your body. Still with your eyes closed, gradually increase that price by 10% and go up in increments until you feel positively excited. If you start to feel scared or nervous, you've gone too far, just bring it back down. Then make a note of what is that excited figure. That is what you should charge. So I did this exercise years and years ago in The Children's Nutritionist, and I raised my prices from £285 to £1,250, which was very successful for my business. Don't be tempted to see what other people are charging and pluck a figure somewhere in the middle of that, because your competitors' fees will reflect their money mindsets and who knows what's going on for them. Of course, it's really good to know what is typical for your profession, but actually, you can charge whatever you like. The irony here is that there will always be someone who says you're too expensive, even if you only charge them £1. Step 4, reframe money as a tool to enable. Let me ask you, how do you feel about the word wealth or rich or even having more money? What thoughts and emotions does it conjure up for you? Are they negative or are they positive? If it's negative, I want you to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing money as something to feel bad about, I want you to reframe it as a tool for creating impact. When you earn more money, you can give more. You can set up a regular donation to a charity and give back. You can offer 1 or 2 sponsored spots on your programs that people with lower incomes can be nominated for or apply for. You can choose to take on fewer clients, freeing up time to create free resources, like write more blogs, like create educational YouTube videos, or even start a podcast like me to help people free of charge. You can invest in yourself, whether that's further training to up-level yourself in business, whether it's self-care or treating yourself to a few luxuries, or simply just choosing to spend more time with your friends and your family. Remember here, money isn't the goal itself. It's just a resource that allows you to amplify your impact and create the life that you want. So ask yourself, what opportunities could more income create for you? And how could earning more benefit others as well as benefiting yourself and your business? Because when you see money as a tool to enable, it takes on a really positive energy. It becomes much easier to feel confident about earning it and charging appropriately. And then step 5, the final step here, is to take notice of where you might be sabotaging your successes. So now you already know your money stories and where they come from. Sometimes what happens when you reach a certain level in your business, no matter what you do, you just don't seem to be able to get beyond that. In his book, The Big Leap, Gay Hendricks uses the term upper limit problem, which is exactly this. It's a subconscious, self-sabotaging behavior that actually holds us back. I'll pop a link to the book in the show notes if you want to learn more. So, do you notice reoccurring patterns like negotiating prices, always offering a discount, or extra sessions, effectively undervaluing your service? Are you hesitant to promote your offers to your email list or on social media? Or do you come across apologetic when you're discussing your prices? These behaviors can be self-sabotaging. They often stem from subconscious fears of rejection or judgment or not feeling worthy of financial success. So just be curious when things like this come up for you and ask yourself, where did they come from? So I've got another little story here for you. I once worked with another client who kept undervaluing her group program. Every time she ran it, she would add in extra bonus sessions with her that took her time, or she would give money off discounts because she thought it would make her offer more appealing. She was actually burning herself out with all the extra time and energy that was required to deliver that. And actually, it didn't really result in a greater number of signups. she actually began to feel really resentful of this program and she stopped selling it. So when we explored this pattern, she said to me that she felt she had to over-deliver in order to justify her prices because she'd put her prices up. Once she'd recognized that this was self-sabotaging behavior, she stopped the discounts. We used a time-limited sign-up period instead to encourage people to join now and not put it off. And she stopped offering the extra bonus sessions. She relaunched, she made sales, she ran the program, she had more free time for her to spend elsewhere. So let me ask you, where might you be holding yourself back? And are there any patterns that keep repeating that undermine your success? Okay, we have covered a lot here today. So my action step for you today is just to protect some time in your day and revisit this episode with a notebook and a pen and work through each of the 5 steps that we've covered. Set aside an hour or two and really dive into those 5 steps. They were step 1, identifying your money stories. 2, defining exactly what you want. 3, charge appropriately. 4, reframe money as a tool to enable. And number 5, notice where you might be sabotaging your successes. Use this time to reflect and make a plan for addressing these and moving forwards, because growth comes from taking action upon your reflections. So there we have it. Today, we've explored the very powerful topic of money mindset and how it shapes your business and your financial success. Shifting your perspective on money is no small task, but honestly, let me just say this, it can be one of the most transformative things that you can do, not just for your income, but also for your confidence, for the results you get your clients, and for your feelings of just being successful and the impact that you want to create. Now, I've been talking about mindset in business a lot lately. And if you're ready to take this work even further, I'm really excited to share with you that in late February 2025, I will be launching a 12-week Mindset for Business group coaching program. It's designed specifically for health professionals who run businesses just like you. So this isn't about strategy or tactics. It's about tackling those invisible barriers that are holding you back. So over transformative 12 weeks together, we will identify and overcome your self-limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, and any self-sabotaging behaviors that come up. We'll be building confidence in showing up online and in your business. And we'll be developing a resilient growth mindset that allows you to take bold, consistent action. So this program will give you the tools, the guidance, and the community that you need to break through that invisible barrier and create a business that attracts more clients, that makes more money, and it aligns with your ambitions and values. So if this sounds good, I would love for you to head to the link in the show notes to join the waitlist, and you will be the first to know when our discounted beta program group launches in February. Now, join me next time when we are exploring the power of certain daily rituals and how these can transform your mindset and help you build resilience, setting you up for long-term success. These are small but significant habits that are so important for business owners, helping you stay focused and stay the course so you can perform at your very best. Bye for now. That's it for another week. Thank you so much for joining me as we explore the abundance of strategies to help you recapture that feeling of possibility and excitement as you drive your business forwards and beyond the clinic room. If you found today's episode inspirational, then don't forget to like and subscribe to the show to stay in the loop for more valuable advice that I'm going to be sharing each week. If you want to be the first to hear about new episode releases, news and ways that I can support your business growth, then please don't forget to check out the links in the show notes, and you can also connect with me from there. Don't keep me a secret. I would be delighted if you left a review and shared this podcast with your colleagues. Until next time, bye for now.